Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another video. Okay, let's check it out. Let's see what I got for you right now. If you're into those coupes from back in the early 60s that came from the country of the pasta and the pizza, well, you are looking at the right video. And those coupes that look quite fashionable from a brand that you may not have expected to see a truly fashionable car like that. Well, you are in the correct vehicle. Let's give you a proper presentation. What I got for you right now, it's a 143 scale 1961 Fiat 2300 Coupe. Now, before anything, Fiat does make, and they used to make a lot of attractive looking cars, but it's not from Italy, it's not the one that stands out as being the most fashionable compared to Lancia or Lancia or Alfa Romeo or Maserati. Fiat was always more the everyday use type of car. And it still is. But those were the other brands were sometimes used to stand out a lot more when it came to looks. But this one was really a true nice looking car. If you're familiar with the Fiat 2300, it was a sedan or originally, but in 19 let me see when did they actually they came out with the sedan that was the most popular one, but the coupe says here alongside the saloon and the state. Models of the 2300 included a Ghia-designed Grand Tours, the Fiat 2300 Coupe, and the Fiat 2300 S Coupe. Okay, it says the shape of the car was first seen public when Ghia presented it as a prototype sports coupe at the 1960 Turin Motor Show. A production version based on the newly launched Fiat 2300 Saloon was presented in 1961 and went on general sale in 1962. Having developed the coupe body, Ghia lacked the production capacity needed for the volumes envisaged. They were obligated to subcontract its production to OSI. I think, if I'm not mistaken, OSI was a company connected to Gia that used to make like low volume cars. I mean, not from my understanding, something like that. But if you have more information on that, please let me know in the comments. Basically, this was a car that they produced, but they didn't have the, if I'm not mistaken, the funds or the space or the production capacity needed for volumes for the amount of cars they wanted it to produce. Okay, now let's talk about engines. Engines, there was only one engine. As being called a 2300, it was a 2.3 cylinder. So this was a big boy for Italian car. It was no little Fiat 600 type of engine. No, no. For 2.3 cc's V6, it was a decent engine back in the days. And then transmissions, you had a 4-speed manual or you had a 3-speed Borg Warner, I guess that was the brand for this transmission, automatic. It says here the Fiat 2300 used a unibody construction, front suspensions were by double wishbones, sprung by torsion bars and hydraulic dampers and the anti-roll bar. Okay, so it's well built, quite well built. All right, everyone, I'm gonna let this beauty go around a few times, and I'll be right back. All right, everyone. So, what do you guys think about this nice, quite attractive Fiat from the early 60s? Was it your type of car? Was it a car that you would have bought back in the days? Or having other options that you found more glamorous and from a brand that you probably felt more into fashion, not so much an everyday use type of brand, more like a standout like Alfa Romeo or Maserati? I personally would definitely will buy one of them. I think they're quite attractive. I like the rear end a lot. It's just that cutoff window, and then the rear window takes over the pillar. I think it's a well built car, and maybe they could have probably sold better if they had a better system of building the cars. It just always depends on who takes who produces and if they have the facility, the funds, and all that in between. All right, everyone. Don't forget to give me a beautiful thumbs up that I always appreciate. Thank you so much. Also, before I forget, this is a diecast. I was what I was gonna say before. I don't know. A diecast and is made by Hachette, as you probably noticed already. Just wanted to share that with you guys. And don't forget to click the subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell next to the subscribe button. And always the part that I really care the most, comment below. Let me know what you guys think about this model. Have you ever seen them in person? Have you ever got lucky enough to drive one of these? Have you seen them in a museum, in a car show, or they actually sold in your country? So many questions, so many answers. Let me know in the comments below where you guys are from, what you guys collect, and all that. Take care of yourselves more than ever, as I always say, and goodbye.